Wisconsin Eye's 2014 election coverage is brought to you by the Wisconsin Hospital Association. For over 90 years, a valued voice for Wisconsin hospitals, supporting high-quality, high-value care in communities like yours.
Wisconsin Eye is at the Milwaukee Public Library interviewing candidates in the 2014 elections. We're interviewing Mr. Tracey Dent. He's from Milwaukee. He's a Democrat running in the 16th Assembly District. Tracey, welcome to Wisconsin Eye.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I have a program note. Wisconsin Eye appreciates the support of the Wisconsin Hospital Association, which represents more than 139 hospitals and health systems, for making these candidate interviews possible. Tracey, you're a former Capitol aide. You work for former Representative Coggs?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing now? I mean, do you have a business or do you work for a nonprofit?
No, right now I work for a temp service and I'm stationed out in Quad Graphics. And so I have an accounting background, so that's what I'm doing there.
Okay.
And then also in my spare time, you know, I do community activist type issues dealing with violence prevention.
Violence prevention.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. And the reason is you just hosted the vigil for Sierra, the 10-year-old girl.
Yes.
You hosted the vigil.
Mm-hmm.
She was shot playing on a playground at Clark Street Elementary.
Yes.
You do a lot of work against violence. So tell me about the lessons that Milwaukee is learning about inner city violence and your thoughts on how to reduce that violence, sir.
Well, I mean, violence affects everyone. You know, so it's not a cultural thing. It's just, you know, violence is everywhere. It's not just on north side, south side, you know, east, it doesn't matter. But, you know, throughout the years as me, you know, working to help reduce the violence in the city, we just cannot give up. And one of the things I noticed is that a lot of people are afraid. They are afraid to have their children play on the playgrounds, even outside their house. I have a brother who is legally blind. He's afraid to come outside himself just because, you know, it's like the wild, wild west out there. And you have people, young adults basically, that's committing most of the crimes. And, you know, and it's just, you know, now it's time to take action. You know, with Sierra, and then there was another girl, she was 11 years old. She was just in the store shopping. And someone came in and robbing the place, and she wound up getting shot. And you know, enough is enough. And one of the things I did, I've taken a stand against the violence, which means that we need to start working on solutions instead of just you know, doing rallies and stuff like that. So what I have done is I reached out to the church community. The faith-based community, and ask for help, because we can't always depend on the police department. We can't depend on the public officials, because they're going to do so much. So now it's time for the people to take a stand. And what I've done is I reached out to the churches and say, can you adopt a block? When you adopt a block, then help form block watches. And then, you know, and the churches get more involved in the community that they're based in. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, with so many churches in the city of Milwaukee, just think of what kind of impact it can make, you know. Right now, we all need, you know, God in our lives. And because it's crazy out there with the robberies on the east side and close to downtown, the shootings in central Milwaukee, it's crazy. We're turning into you know, the economic hardship in Detroit and the violence in Chicago. We're right in the middle. Yeah,
I was struck by, you told a television reporter, quote, "This community is dying because of guns." That was your quote.
Yes, I mean, it's dying because of guns, because it's so, you know, easy to access illegal guns, you know, and some kind of way, we have to find a way to, you know, cut that off, you know. The gun buyback program is okay, I mean, it helps, but we need something stronger, you know.
Well, you've heard Chief Flynn say we need tougher laws on criminals who continue to have guns. Have you talked to the police department about what change in laws that they'd like to see made?
I haven't had a chance to sit down with Chief Lynn and discuss that, but I'm with them. I'm with them 100%. I mean, if you're a felon and you get caught with a gun, I mean, there has to be tougher laws.
Okay.
But and make sure that they are enforced. That's the main thing right there.
Okay.
Because we have to, even as legislators, we have to send a statement to say enough is enough.
Another part of your campaign is a focus on our schools.
Yes.
What one or two changes would you like to see made to help MPS, help the children of the inner city learn?
Well, for one, we have to get parents involved. That's the first and foremost. That's the number one complaint when it comes to teachers. They said that there's not enough parents involved in their children's education. So one of the things I wanted to propose is having like an educational awareness month. And like August would be the prime time to have it, where everybody's gearing up to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
To get, try to encourage parents to be more involved in their children's education. Also, there's a lot of adults who do know how to read, and try to encourage them to go back to school. And I mean, that's a big chunk right there. And also, I have a problem with when you have a child who's in kindergarten and then, passes all the way through 8th grade, regardless if they can read or write. And by the time they get into high school, there's an issue because that child is so far behind, then that's when they either drop out of school or they get disruptive in the classroom, and the teachers cannot function right when it comes to high school. And I think we need to, form some kind of solution for that alone, because it's hurting us more than helping us.
A big issue, as you're well aware in Milwaukee, is school choice. Do you support it? Would you like to see it shut down, phased out? What's your position, sir?
That is a touchy subject, because I talk to, parents and teachers. One of the complaints is that, there's a lot of teachers in choice schools or whatever who's not certified. That's a big issue. I would not want my child being taught by someone who's not certified to teach. That's one big issue right there. Also, another issue is we need to raise the bar. It should be like a uniform educational standards for all schools, no matter if it's public choice or whatever.
Charter.
And so because we as parents need to demand excellence from not just from our child, but also as the teachers and the school system as a whole, and accept nothing less. So I mean, do I? I do not agree with how they teach our children. Mm-hmm. Should we shut them down? That's something that's debatable.
Okay.
But right now, my focus is, raising the bar and demanding excellence, because we need to fix our education system. Mm-hmm. It's more important than is it my fourth choice or for MPS. I'm for education across the board.
Transportation is a huge issue in your district, isn't it?
Yes.
The bus systems
yes.
But there's a larger issue, Tracey, and that is there's a projected $650 million shortfall in state transportation funding for the next 2 years. What are your thoughts on how we can help residents of your district use these transportation systems and yet pay for this shortfall?
Well, one, we cannot neglect our retirees. They're complaining about, as it is, about the transportation system that in Milwaukee. And, talking about there's going to be a $650 million shortfall in the next couple of years, mm-hmm. that is a major issue that needs to be handled right away, mm-hmm. because we cannot neglect our elderly. Because, we just have to find the money somewhere to offset that. Now, I mean, if we can find money to help pay for, these projects, these major projects, which is needed, we also need to find money for that also.
Some people suggest maybe it's time to raise the gas tax or the $75 you and I pay for our car. Mm-hmm. Would you consider a tax increase, sir?
I would consider it dependent, I would have to do a study on that. I'm not just going to say yes or no right off the bat, because you have to be real strategic how you're going to do this and what's the effect if we does that. So it has to be research on that. So.
2 years ago, the federal government told all states, if you expand your MA benefits to more low-income people, we'll pay for it for at least the first 1, 2, or 3 years. Governor Walker, as you know, and leaders of the Assembly and Senate said, no thanks, federal government, we're not going to take your money. Do you think that was a wise choice or not wise choice?
I think that was a bad choice.
Why?
One, you're turning your backs on the poor. That's first and foremost. Two, did you ever think that we can save money for that because of that? It's just that's just a thought that maybe, Governor Walker has to think about, and the poor, they're voters too, so don't just think about the middle class and the rich. Don't forget it's very important that we try to help everyone, not just a select few.
I'm asking all candidates I interview this. Any response to Judge Crabb's ruling saying that should be legalized in Wisconsin?
I agree with her. I mean, regardless of who you are and what you do, all people have a right. And I think that, and I support the same-sex marriage, because I always say it like this: if that was your child, would you deny your child those same benefits? That's what you have to look at. And we are all human beings, regardless of gender. So, yeah, I do support same-sex marriage.
2 candidates for Attorney General say first offense drunken driving should be a crime. Do you have a position on that, sir?
Yes. I mean, I agree because, Wisconsin is too relaxed on drunk driving. And I think we need to send a message that we're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to tolerate another person, driving the wrong way on a highway, for instance. That's nuts. That's crazy. Okay. But no, I do, agree that it should be a first offense. Should be a crime.
Okay. There are proposals both in Washington and Madison to raise the minimum wage. Your position on that, sir?
Yes, I do agree to raise the minimum wage, but at the same time, we need to figure out how can we make sure that the small businesses stay afloat. They might want, because first thing they'll say is that, well, we have to raise our prices because to offset the minimum wage hike. So we have to make sure that we come with some legislation so we can raise the minimum wage, but at the same time help the small businesses.
Okay. A former aide to Representative Coggs.
Yes.
What decisions do you think? How have decisions in Madison helped or hurt the city of Milwaukee, or more specifically, the residents of the 16th Assembly District? Have they had an impact, recent decisions like Act 10 or other issues, sir?
You mean as last?
Yeah. Is there? Well, let me ask it this way: what are the biggest issues of your proposed constituents in the 16th Assembly District? Well,
when I talk to the people of the 16th Assembly District, one of the major issues is transportation. Okay. And they're worried. They're worried what's going to happen in the next couple of years. Especially if you lose the $650 million, and then all of a sudden you're cutting more and more routes. That's one of the big issues. Also, violence. That is a very, very big issue in the 16th Assembly District. And the third thing is education. We have a lot of teachers over there in the 16th Assembly District who are frustrated, and they feel that nobody's really hearing their cry. And I want to do that. I want to help them, be a better teacher, but we need to give them the tools for them to do that.
Okay. Then finally, if you want to, do you want to highlight any differences between you and your opponents in the primary, Mr. Dent?
I'll just say it like this. For myself, I am very visible, very transparent. I'm always out in the community. I'm always helping families. And families, everyone talks to me, if it's not the police officers, not the teachers, or just regular residents of the 16th Assembly District. I like to get things done. I like to work on solutions. And one of the greatest things I'm proud of, I am able to bring people together. So, you know, for instance, like the motorcycle safety awareness, we bring in all different type of motorcycle riders. We have this Harley, motorsports, you know, clubs and everything. Even bringing churches together. I got an event coming up July 26th. It's Churches United Walk Against Violence. I got over 23 churches on board. Non-denominationals, doesn't matter. But it just shows you that I am the perfect person for this position because I know how to relate to the people, and and that district is so diverse. You got to have someone that able to communicate to everyone, and I'm that person. I'm just saying, you know, and I am ready to get to work. So after, you know, on August 13th, let's go to work.
I understand. Tracey Dent of Milwaukee is a Democratic candidate in the 16th Assembly District. The primary election is August 12th. Mr. Dent, thanks for talking to Wisconsin Eye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.